Good early morning. I don't know where you guys are. It is 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. my time. It's noon. It's noon Eastern. It is stream time. It is lunchtime. I'm gonna wait till we get the awesome. Everything's up and going. Let's dive in. Let's look at some of these charts. It's gonna be your standard. Before we dive in, going back to another session of chart mastery. A lot of interesting things happening in the markets right now. We went from Putin dumping to Putin pumping. There was a lot of uncertainty this whole time. I was really bullish on it. Kind of still am. I've got this bullish bias right now on pretty much almost everything except for one thing. Yeah, so in this stream, I'm gonna cover a few things, and then I'm gonna take any chart requests that everybody has. I'm gonna cover BTC. I'm gonna cover Ether. I'm gonna cover the indices, so S&P. Yes, I'm also gonna talk about gold. I want to highlight Luna, and yeah, let's get this party started. How's everybody doing? Smash that like button. Let me know who's in the chat. Markets have been really volatile. It's kind of been a shit show, but gladly I've been doing my best trying to track it, especially in Discord. And we had some signals last night, right? We caught BTC at a low, caught ETH at a low. Still in Luna. I'm gonna showcase some of these. So Luna highlighted at 51.78 that it was bottom. And then bam, now it's at 83, right? Some of us are riding this, some of us got on like at 62. I wanted to add a 69 and never got there. And then yesterday on Twitter, oh man, where'd that thread go? So this was from Discord, right? So signaled BTC at 37.484, stop at 348, and that long did not get shaken out, right? On this dump, I was saying this 61.8 needs to hold, and I'm gonna tell you guys, why I thought it was bullish, why I thought it needed to hold. I mean, yes, we've been stuck in this range. Some people are expecting downside, and I'll talk about that next. But before we get into the downside, I saw the swing, right? It was the swing from 32 to 45. And I saw a retracement to it, right? And I wanted along this back here, previously, and that didn't work. And then we had this mega wick that I could not really catch. But then yesterday on the shakeout on BTC, I saw a 61.8, and I posted in our BTC margin channel that this should hold and priced it below it. So my next move was to find where the possible wick would be, the wick turn. And as soon as I extended the stop range, right, I figured it was in for the taking. And that signal literally came in. I need to drop some kind of up arrow on this candle, right here. And it wicked below 37.403 and then started closing above, and I said, hey, we're going to take this long instead of stop under it, and then you just give it time. And in due time, surely enough, right, charts up 9.6%. So you guys in Discord that took that long with me, props to you. Now, I did say I was going to mention that there's possible downside. I mean, if we're going to see downside continuation, I think it's going to happen soon, right? So this is like do or die for BTC, right? So going off just by the rules of 61.8 continuations, 44.799 down to 30.4272, right? 40,000 is a 61.8. Now, luckily, price is above it. And if you want to like extend it to the next high, rejected right off of it. So at this point, I'm not hedged yet. I want to see, you guys know I like to really execute on minute time frames, right? So I run my analysis on like bigger time frames, right? Like 4 hour and stuff. But when it comes to like pulling a trigger on a trade, I'm the guy that goes to the 5-minute chart because I want that precise, concise entry with a really tight stop, and that's exactly what we did. So at this point, I want to see maybe a retest up here or a failed 61.8. I think it's too soon to like take that short on the first try. I want to see something else happen, and if we get some volatility, I still don't expect this to like dump right back here right away. But if I'm going to hedge it, it's going to be soon. If you guys don't know what hedging means, is taking a short while keeping my long open on like a sub account or on futures. Can we expect a pullback? Probably, but that's all I have for BTC right now. Once again, I did post this in Discord for the VIPs. I've been sharing a lot of my entries on Twitter, but like this one, it's BTC, so I saved it for the VIPs, the VIPs. And then I think I had a Ether one, right? So I posted on Ether during the dip that what we're seeing now is very much similar to what we saw the past few days, right? Over the weekend, or the previous week. What we saw over the weekend was the exact pattern we saw previously, and I caught along on this one too. I actually posted my entries, right? 2620 was one entry. I got one that's a little lower too, 2578. And then let's look at that chart. Let's see what I saw. Let's see where I think it's headed, and what we can squeeze out of it, right? So that was a big, I don't know why I have the 16% dump highlighted. So these are 5 counts, but I'm not going to label them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because 3 would be broken. Usually 3 is the longest leg, and here what we're seeing is the 5th leg being the longest. So this was our A, B, C, D, and E, right? And it's like, think of it as like a corrective reverse triangle, right? I'm not an Elliotician, but reverse triangles do exist in markets, and we just saw 2 back to back, right? And what's interesting here, I'd say take notes as how you want to counter trade one of these, because that's what I did yesterday, and I posted about it and I logged it, and it's freaking working. The idea is using fibs, you extend C to 0, and my 0 is up here, right? So I could stretch it out, but I don't need to. And we got was a turn at a 2318, which is 1.618. And doing the same thing on this one, I got super close. Didn't quite get there, but it held up between these 2 fibs. So one of my entries was on this wick when it started turning around. Another one was like right here, the 2600 one. And then just saw this dip, and I figured if it's gonna reject, it's a really tight stop, like 2606 to 2618. And next thing you know, next candle was the pumper. So we still don't have a breakout on Ether, right? Like BTC broke out. I can put these side by side. Let's go to the hourly. But I mean, this looks like it wants to break out. Are we going to see another leg down on this triangle? Man, I freaking hope not. Right? I think it's complete because this last extended leg was so far down. The initial leg was like a 1.2, right? And then I think this one was the same thing. It was almost. So really interesting formations we're seeing, and really interesting that we can actually measure them. Now, where's the 61.8 bear retrace on this? We're close. We're close, right? I rejected the first time, so like if you shorted here and bought these dumps, good. I'd want to see another test to 28.58. I don't know if we're gonna get it. I hope we do. And we'll know shortly, right? Is the market actually turning over? Is it gonna go into maybe even a relief rally, right? And we're gonna have a lot of resistance on the way up. We could, unless we just get hit by like major FOMO candles, right? Something like we saw here, something like we saw here, or like this escalation in price. That covers my Ether and BTC analysis. What else do I want to cover? We talked about Luna. Man, that was such a good entry. I actually posted this one on TradingView, on Twitter. I show this chart everywhere, man, and in Discord. We got in at like 51, right? And it was a bullish retrace of this last swing, right? So that's why, like, when I saw the 61.8 on BTC yesterday, I said, hey, if it holds, we're gonna long it. And that's what you can expect out of these moves, right? Like upwards extensions. At this point, the chart flips the 100%, and that's when you start basically tracking extensions. And if you're going to extend this range to get some targets, it could still have some upside. And really, very interesting that it, like, gee, I don't know why I went off. They should probably go off this high, right? Because that was the range we used to actually draw it. But if I go like in how I do schematics, and I highlight this in the Fib workshop, right, it's also above the 61.8. I think if it continues this aggressively, then we're basically looking at the same thing that happened here. And I have those in the notes on the trading idea on TradingView. It's a really interesting chart right now, Luna. So if we do that, then we can probably extend like up and extend the actual dump zone and maybe see 119, 120. That would be really awesome. I'm not saying it's going to be one candle till we get up there. All right, ES, S&P. Very interesting, right? It's trying to stay above the 50, and it looks like it's the second attempt. Are we going to see 61.8? I'd say, man, I don't know. This looks grim, right? Looks like a tweezer top, probably on a bigger time frame. Saw something similar here. Should have shorted that. Didn't. So this looks interesting. Maybe we'll find an intraday retrace or something to get some puts. But I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon to like reshort stock market, because what I'm seeing on moving averages is something that we see very rarely. And did it actually ring this low? It didn't. So what you're seeing on moving averages, right, is a bounce off that red line. Removing, oh shit, shouldn't have done that. I'm going to remove drawings and just clean up the chart. Get rid of volume and the white moving average. So what we're seeing, right, is a really strong moving average. Usually when you get a bounce off of it, the chart seems to want to like retest at least previous highs, right? We saw that here, we saw that here, we saw that here, we saw that here. We still had a previous high, except for this move, right? And this was the top in 2008. Now this is an interesting parallel, right? Because if we're gonna move into some kind of move like 08, it still had a 61.8. I'm just going to hide the MA real quick. Okay, I'm just going to stretch the chart instead. Alright, we had a 786, we had a 61.8, and then we had a dump. What about down these guys? Down off this low? Yeah, it still rang, you know, and then here if we extended it. Right, so I mean, even if we're going to go lower, even if the market's going to trend lower, I'm just looking at 08, I'd want to see 45.91 at least. That's where I'm going to cut my calls and off risk a little. Or maybe keep my calls and trade some puts instead and like hedge it. But I think that's at least what we're going to see on the ES. And then I want to talk about gold because I'm shorting it and it's not a secret. In today's action, looks really bearish in my perspective. I kind of got excited to just say that. So the reason I'm shorting it, let's go to 3-day, is this top, right? This top. Ooh, starting to give away secrets with things that I had highlighted. All right, so this top here was a 61.8, right? And the 2012, right? We were talking about 2012 top, 2013 October 2012, right? And what happened with gold is it rejected here 1, 2, 3 times, and then sold off and then dumped, right? And it pulled back to these lower fibs before finding support here. And once again, on this one, the pretty sure that was a 61.8. It's like what we saw in BTC yesterday, right? So we saw a 61.8 hold before the rally. So what we're seeing now is very similar. We call this the first rejection, second rejection, and then now we got the Putin rejection. The Putin rejection is like by far the biggest wick one I've seen on a gold top. Yeah, especially on like a weekly. All right, so the fact that we're seeing this, it makes me want to like buy some puts that are really far out. And I already did. I posted them. I talked about them last stream. So I'm targeting like down here, right? I expect this range to break and see some liquidity below before we go back up. If we go back up. But I'm giving these a year and like 3 months. So it's not like I'm trading a short-term one where it could just wick up and get really affected by premium. And so far, premium's going up on the puts. So, yeah. And I also have a thread going on this on Twitter on like why I'm trading so far out and so far out of the money. Because I saw something similar on MSTR and I played it wrong, but try to learn from that mistake and replaying it now. Ruth Taylor, VYN, VYN? Is that a coin? FYI is for you. Okay. FYI resources limited. You got an Australian in the house. What's going on here? I would say, I was looking at this, it's retracing extensions, right? I mean, you could do a bullish retrace on it too, but it looks like shit if we do that. It looks too bearish. Maybe it's extending down here. At this point, a chart like this, I would say, is retracing extensions. If 25 cents doesn't hold, then we're probably going down to 205. Alright guys, smash that like button if I covered your chart. Smash that like button if you think I'm wrong. And then show me some tickers. Let's look at some things that you want me to look at. A lot of times y'all have really good suggestions and we end up finding positions because of y'all's participation. So if you could please hit me with some tickers and we'll check them out. If you don't hit me with tickers, then I'm probably gonna call this stream a day and get back into Discord and do what I do with my crew, my VIPs. And yeah, so show me some tickers, and if not, then I will see you guys on Wednesday, same time, same place. Can you look at Dot Ether? Is the right ticker? So I'm you know, this last cycle of charting, ever since BTC like broke out of the bear market, it's been, and I'm talking like even pre-COVID, it's been really hard to trade alts on BTC and ETH pairs. It just has. I think something like this, to make it simpler, right? Like I wouldn't want to be trading alt ETH pairs. I've been focusing on USD pairs. Usually if you get a really strong USD pair, right? Like if you're trading the right chart, if you're calculating the right thing, you're gonna kick everything's ass. I'll go back to your chart real quick. But look at this. Right? I've been focusing on Luna for the last few months, and a lot of my streams I've been saying Luna's a lot easier to trade than anything else, and it's like breaking ATH on BTC, breaking ATH on Ether pair. So, anyway, let's look at .USD. I'm more comfortable doing that because I can't tell you a bottom on ETH pair. I can. This looks very much like the rest of the market in a sense. It is doing that like descending, broadening, wedge-ish formation. There at bottom, we can fib. Not liking that. Maybe we're onto something. So there's two ways to look at this, right? The reason I extended it, let's also do like a bull extension. Yeah, it's kind of back in that initial range, right? The listing on Coinbase range. And it doesn't look the most bullish. Right, it's not breaking past 61.8, right? It's actually not. At this point, I would think 17.78, right? If you get a close above here, then you probably see a move to 19. But if you don't, then it's probably going to pull back into like a bullish retrace. I'm just going to remove my drawings and do like the most simple bullish retracement set. Right, it's probably going back to 15.8 if it doesn't break above. So I would pay attention to a 50% retrace, which is quote unquote very bullish. And then the most optimal golden ratio is a 15.8. Link USD. Link looks just like Ether. I mean, I think some of these charts have bottomed. Got a rainstorm outside and got like a fruit fly infestation in my kitchen. I just took the trash out and they're everywhere. So you're gonna hear some things. You're gonna see me like shooing some things. Gotta take care of that after the stream. Link looks interesting, right? We're above that 14.34. I'm just going to remove these initial sets and extend the next range. And go down to this wick low. We're above that 14.57. I feel like I have bullish bias on Link. I can't tell if it's starting to wedge. It looks like it's wedging. I don't like this wedge too much. Let's go here. You could see a wedge breakout. You could totally see a wedge breakout. Yeah, it's definitely wedged. Yeah, like I think a spawn position would be healthy here, right? I don't know if I'd leverage a breakout. I don't like FOMOing. You guys know that I like to long these like stupid wick close and catch knives on margin. But that's what I see on Link now. You could see a possible breakout because like the daily chart is wedged as and then intraday it looks interesting too. Let's look at Matic. Matic's been one of like the more resilient charts. Once again, it's not a Luna, right? I'm not trying to show Luna, but it has been the most strongest asset in my charting history, right? So, I'd want to see Matic pick up momentum. I don't know, no comment. I'd say Matic's going to follow the rest of the market. Same thing with Link. It's also like doing a triangle. I'm not going to say sideways, but there's a reason I was signaling Matic and I stopped. Right? There's a reason I was trading it and then I was like, I'm not going to mess with it. All right. ICP, Boss Hog with the ICP request. You guys hear the rain? Maybe it's bottoming. I don't like this chart, man. Actually, it looks like it's bottoming based on this last extension. Yeah, I think that was our conclusion last time. Is I extended this range and I said 16.3. So at this point, to figure out if we're gonna get continuation, right? We're gonna make this visible to you guys. We're gonna zoom in on here, and we want to see at least 19.5 if it's gonna break out. At least I can hear it. All right, well, guys, thank you all for tuning into the stream. I don't think I'd long DOT right now. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in to today's stream. Thank you for all your chart requests. Make sure to hop in at Discord. I've left the traditional market channels open for some time just because I thought I can share some good plays with you. But after today, they're gonna be closed. They're gonna be back to Mondays only, where they're open to everyone. So hope you guys got into the gold puts. It's kind of my lotto ticket for next year. Yeah. So other than that, ADA USD. I mean, I don't know why people want to chase breakouts. I mean, I can see how some traders think like, oh, a breakout is real. I'm gonna be a breakout trader. But like, there's a reason I like to buy these swing lows, right? There's a reason I get in at like below 26.25 and below 25.97, right? Is because I don't want, so you guys can't see that. What the? Huh? Is it locked? Oh, let me. Right. So buy price 25.78. Buy price 26.20. Right. And I was just saying, I like to get in below like 26.25 and 25.90. Right. So I like to get in below these levels on the wick close. That way I don't really have to worry about the chart and liquidations and stops once the trend starts going in favor. But like longing things like a breakout long, where's that stop going to be? Down here? It's a lot of risk, you know? But I can see ADA tagging 97. That would be the next logical place for it to tag. Unless... But then again, like, in retrospect, ADA USD on Coinbase is like trading at a new low range, right? ADA USDT on Binance, you can have a lot more data. And it doesn't really look that bad. And sometimes trading at a new swing low is actually bullish, right? Not saying bullish as in, oh, that's great, but that's when charts will end up rallying harder, right? And the reason I say that is here we had an old low. That is the worst trend line. Like here we had an old low, and then the chart basically looks very similar now to, not super similar, but close enough, right? Usually when I see moves like this, the reason I like to long lows, but like this wouldn't be an extreme low. It could be breaking out, right? ADA's got a like XR, not even XRP army or Link army. There's a bunch of ADA people that I don't know why they're such believers, and I don't think there's anything behind it. I think it's a scam. But usually moves like this end up possibly triggering these up moves, right? Now, if we study this last move and how it developed, what kind of pullbacks did we get that were executable, right? Was there a 61.8? You know, at this point, right, when we see the first 61.8 hold, then I think, hey, I think I want to trade this, right? And the next pullback was like a little below a 50%, right, and so forth. So are we starting to see that? I don't think we've seen that just yet. You can zoom in on a smaller time frame. So I'd start looking for if I was going to long this, we did see the first 50%, right? So I'd want to see like the next 50%. So the next swing low is probably, if it's going to continue up, that's going to be our 100% is going to be 833. And then the next swing, the next 50 or 61.8, depending where the top is. I wouldn't think it's up here. Alright, Fame Bam, that's all I got. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button once again. Share the stream with some friends. Hope you got in on some longs. If you're shorting, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday, same time, same place. Much love to everyone. Hike your stops.